Hello, 1st Congressional District voters. My name is Spencer Zimmerman, and I'm running against Paul Ryan as a Trump conservative November 8th. I want to thank Wisconsin Public Television for giving me the opportunity to share my priorities for Congress. Priority number 1 is term limits, 2 terms for senators and 8 years for congressmen. I believe that this reform, in the form of a constitutional amendment, would do more to change Washington than anything done in the 200-plus years since the Constitution itself was ratified. Priority number 2 is to bring jobs back to America. We need to renegotiate or leave NAFTA, stop TPP, and end the outsourcing of jobs to China and Mexico. My third priority is to secure America's borders. We need to build a wall along our southern border and end illegal immigration. I will spend the rest of my time today focusing on my fourth priority, a new 9/11 investigation. New evidence has become public implicating several foreign governments in the 9/11 attacks. The recently declassified 28 pages implies Saudi Arabia financed the hijackers while in the United States. 15 of the 19 hijackers were Saudi citizens, along with Osama bin Laden, who was found to be living in Pakistan for several years prior to being killed on May 2, 2011. As a candidate for Senate in July 2011, I called for a full investigation into whether Pakistan officials knew of bin Laden's location and offered him support during his years in hiding, and I called for a permanent suspension of the billions in foreign aid we send Pakistan every year. Bin Laden's safe house in Abbottabad was just a few hundred yards from Pakistan's top military academy. At the same time, I also called for an investigation into evidence that had recently surfaced in a lawsuit by the families of the 9/11 victims, suggesting that Iran had advanced knowledge of the attacks and helped train the hijackers. A 2012 ruling in this case ordered the Iranian government to pay $6 billion. This past March, a federal judge in New York fined Iran an additional $10.5 billion for its support of al-Qaeda prior to the attacks. During the 7-year Iran 9/11 case investigation, evidence emerged indicating that the Iranian government began planning the attacks as early as 1985 and formed an alliance with al-Qaeda dating back to 1993. The Islamic Republic and the bin Laden terror network were both linked to the 1996 Khobar Towers bombing. Iran was found to have obtained flight simulators for the 9/11 hijackers, concealed their travel by not stamping passports, and to have sent coded messages on May 14, 2001, indicating that the 9/11 plot had been activated. A Washington Times article published on the morning of September 11, 2001, reported that in response to a Russian war game that began on September 10th, the Air Force deployed fighter aircraft to Alaska and northern Canada, where they would be unable to intercept the hijacked planes. According to the Nuclear Threat Initiative, this Russian war game was the largest of its kind since the Cold War, as evidenced by the fact that mid-air refueling occurred for the first time since 1993. Their report reads, the Russian exercise involved over 2,000 personnel, 24